Welcome to Buckets. My name's Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network. This is your Wednesday Best Bets episode in the NBA, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Glad to have you with us. Everything we talk about on today's show can be found in the award-winning Action Network app. Best way for you to track your picks. You get up-to-the-second information where the bets and money are coming in. Complete bracket breakdowns. We have so much content. We're going to have these like live shows running the day of the tournament, so you can get it on days plays of the game. That's going to be found in the app. We have Big Bets on Campus, has all these pods. There's Kerner going through how to basically game theory your bracket pools. I'm using that. I'm feeling good about my brackets, which means they'll be toast by Thursday. Put in some bets last night. I faded my alma mater, University of Missouri. Utah State's going to get it done. They're 1-18. Don't give a shit. They're going to win that game. Excited to bet the tournament, but this is about the NBA. And to bet the NBA on Wednesday, I got Jay Money coming off a game where he said, come on, man. Why are we even talking about this? The Lakers are winning this game. And I said like a million. I was like, I don't know, Jay. Like, I don't know. And he's like, no, I don't care what the number is. The Lakers are winning this game. Lakers were up by 40 at one point. He's Jay Money. You can find him on Twitter at Jay Money is Money. Also join us from MSG Networks in Miami, hanging out for Heat versus Grizzlies on Wednesday night is Sean Little. You can find him on Twitter at Chicago Flow. Sean, how's South Beach?
I laid on the beach all day. Broke down some games.
Fuck you. I'm in Colorado. Fuck you, Sean.
It was great, man. I had to get out of NYC for a couple days. It started to snow, so I took off. I'm going to go catch Dylan Brooks and the clown show that is.
It should be a good time. Jimmy Butler versus Dylan Brooks should be something to see. Jay, good night in the association on Tuesday?
Yeah, everything's cool. I did have two plays, so the Knicks are losing right now, so that's not good for me right now. It's all good. 1-1 day. No complaints out of me. Didn't lose any money.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and go around the table. We'll give a list of our best bets, and then we'll circle back around. We'll do the cap. Sean, let's start with you this time. What's your best bet for the Wednesday slate?
Bulls Kings under 239 minus 110. This number's too big involving the Chicago Bulls at home.
All right, Jay, what's your best bet for Wednesday?
Give me the Miami Heat here. Shout out to my guy Sean down there. Hope you're rooting for him. But yeah, give me the Heat minus 3.5.
Okay, you got another one for me? You want to add?
Yeah, I want to take the Lakers. Man, but,
all right, we'll talk about it in a second. We'll talk.
Matt, why'd you do that, Matt? Why'd you do that to him, Matt?
I'm peer pressuring him into taking the Lakers again on a back-to-back without Anthony Davis. I will take the under in C's Wolves. This is our NBA bet stream game of the week. Check out NBA Bet for more on that. I'll be on a live broadcast on the League Pass app. You can check that out in the League Pass app. Just go to streams for C's Wolves. I will try and contain my enthusiasm towards the Celtics losing because I really need them to lose just like a handful more games for my under 55.5 and under 54. I had like a max play. So that's a thing that I'm going to need, but I'm going to have the under in that game. Let's circle back around. Let's start with Sean. You're betting a game with the Bulls here. Under 239 Kings and Bulls. Which side of this do you think gets it done for the under?
Yes, let's break down both sides, right? The Bulls over the last 10 have just been sensational on the defensive end. Number one in points allowed in the paint, 37.4. That's 7 points better than the third team in the NBA, which is the Grizzlies. Number one in fast break points allowed, 9.6. 2 full points ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks, who are number 2 in the last 10 ball games. And we know the Kings want to get up and down with Fox and the rest of those guys. Number 5 in opponents' points off turnovers, 14.6. Maybe the most important note of these trends, I guess you could say, over the last 10 games, the Bulls are absolutely dead last in pace, 95.4 possessions per game over the last 10. We know the best offensive team in the NBA, which has been the Kings, when they're playing at their best, they're getting up and down and running, kicking to guys like Monk on the wing, Barnes on the wing, Herter on the wing, the rest of the guys. So, but the Kings the last 10, number 4 in pace, number 1 in offensive rating. But like I just mentioned, all those things that they're doing extremely well, the Bulls have been slowing up. Kings number 3 in the fast break, Bulls number 1 verse. Kings number 6 in fast break points, Bulls number 1, like I just mentioned. The Bulls can't shoot it. Also, 10 made threes a game. That's worse than the NBA. The only way they compete in this game the Chicago Bulls, if they slow it down and play their game, which is a slower pace, defensive focused, especially at home. Couple of ATS numbers here as well. Kings 12-20 to the under on the road. Bulls 13-20 to the under at home. Any under involving the Sacramento Kings is going to be a little spooky. I understand that, but the Bulls will slow these guys down just enough to go under 239. They've been playing better. As you know, they blew out the Denver Nuggets in Denver, so they slowed that potent offense down as well. I know they haven't been playing that well over the last, three? They've lost what now? 3-4 straight now? They've lost 4 straight if as we record this on Tuesday night. But I think the Bulls slow them down just enough. 239 is too large of a number in a tight game with the spread being one. I've seen a pick them in some spots as well. So I like under 239 Bulls Kings.
5-star cap right there. That was phenomenal. That was awesome. I'm in. I'm sold. I'm tailing. That was great. How about this one for you? Kings on the road. You mentioned they're 19. The under is 19-12-1, right? And that is a solid win rate of about 61%. Pretty good for them. Not only that, though, the total in those games, the average total on those away games to the Kings is 235. So we have a game versus an opponent that scores less, that defends more at a slower pace, and the total's 4 points higher. So I'm with you. I have this projected 235, gives us 4 points of clearance. I'm with you, under 239.5. Great cap.
Let's go.
Jay, can I get you on a total play? Will you join us? Will you join? That was a really good cap by Sean.
No, I like it. I'd like to take the Bulls. I'd like to take the Bulls game under as well. I mean, it's definitely going to be more on the Bulls here if it goes under. I probably won't be getting involved on the Kings under. That's just me personally. I like my it's not for the faint of heart. You see what I'm saying? So, and to be honest, like I just don't really like betting totals. It has to really be two rock fight type of teams for me. But high total somewhere around 240. I know my guys, they like taking unders. They'll probably be on this one as well, Sean. So I can't talk you off. If I'm playing a total in this one, it's definitely looking towards the under here.
120, right, 116 type of game.
Yeah.
That's what I see it.
Miami taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. No Ja Morant. He continues to be out. He is checked into a counseling center in Florida per ESPN's reporting. Hope that Ja gets himself right. Meanwhile, this total is not 239.5. This total is 220. Expecting a rock fight between two pretty good defenses. Okay. I like the Heat play here in general. I'm not going to play it. I have this rated as like Grizzlies minus like a half a point, Jay. If I adjust for Ja, that only gets me to like -1 or 2. You're under the key number of 4 here. For those that are new to the show, like I've done some research, and basically teams are way more likely to let you run it out at 4 and not foul than they are at 3, obviously, or less. If it's 4, they will sometimes go ahead and let it run. They'll foul more frequently at 4 than 5. So, like, yeah, you're right on the cusp there, but I think it's a good spot. Why do you like Miami in particular in this spot?
Yeah, so I want to fade the Grizzlies on the road here. They are 2-9 against the spread as a road underdog this season. That's worse than the NBA as well. And like I said, they've been struggling on the road as well. We know this, especially without Ja Morant, without their full offense in this one. Obviously, guys like Desmond Bane could go off. I don't expect Dillon Brooks to go off. He's one of those that he kind of got hot at the house, but you see them struggling against the Mavs B team, a horrible Mavs team, in my opinion, over the past couple games. They struggle now, especially in the first half of last game in Dallas. The first game in Memphis, they struggle as well. So I really see their offense struggling here. This is actually a game that I look for under two great defensive teams, two stagnant offenses. If I was going to play an under, it'd be looking towards the under 220 in this one, but I will take the Miami Heat to get a win with this one. With the Knicks likely losing tonight and the Nets likely losing, this is a huge game for the Heat to possibly move up in the standings. They've been playing very lackluster, but they can cluster some wins as well. And Jimmy Butler spoke about in the post-game interview as well, saying we need to string together some wins now. Finally got Lowry back, at least in the mix, playing some minutes. It's helped them out, at least getting the offense set up here. I think the Heat will lock down on defense here and stifle the Grind City Grizzlies in this one. Grizzlies might not make 100 points in this one. Give me the Heat -3.5 in this one.
Okay, a couple things here for you. I don't know if this matters. I really don't. Right? I don't have any like sort of. There's not like types of Western Conference teams and types of Eastern Conference teams. I just think it's interesting because all of the Grizzlies' losses are on the road are almost entirely to the Western Conference. They're 6-5 versus the Eastern Conference on the road. Now, your number about them being dogs, I think, is more salient, right? Because it's like if they beat the Hornets, is that the same as beating the Heat, or is that more analogous to having to go on the road to like a Phoenix team, right? I think so. I think you're probably right there. One thing I gotta say, the Heat have played 50 goddamn games in clutch time this season. Think about that. That means 50 of their games played have wound up inside 5 points in the final 5 minutes. That's absurd. Like, that is bonkers, crazy, batshit insane. They've played 70 games. 50 of them have been inside 5 points in the final 5 minutes. To Jay's credit on the cap, they're 28-22 in those games. So they win more than they lose in those spots. I think what I will probably do, given that I have the Grizzlies as like a slight, like being like, I think the number should be a little lower, is I will wait and hopefully Memphis comes out and plays really well in that first quarter or first half and makes a run, and then live bet Miami. Because Miami is a zombie team that will drag their way back into this and win it in clutch time. They almost did to Orlando the other night, despite so many things going wrong. They will just like find a way. And like this number, I don't mind the cap on it because it's like 3.5 is pretty much just like, yeah, no, they find a way to win and then they get free throws at the end, right? That's what I think this probably projects as. But the only thing is that those games are inherently a little coin flippy, and that makes me nervous about betting it pregame. I want to wait. I will say that while I'm on the bet stream, if I see the Grizzlies are up 10 first quarter, I'm firing on Miami immediately because they'll have to, with a line at 3.5, the bookmakers will have to react in that situation and probably make Memphis a small favorite. And then you can come back and get just a money line on Miami at plus number. Any thoughts on that, Jay?
I don't think they get down 10. I think this is a smash spot for the Heat. I think they come out here with emphasis from get-go in this one. This is one, it's a bet on the Heat, but it's also a bet against the Grizzlies. I don't like the way they've looked lately. I'm glad that they've won a few games. That way this one is in urgency. Remember, they're basically locked into that 2 seed. Without Ja Morant, a lot of swirling things going on the road. Grizzlies also 1-5 ATS last 6 road games versus a team with a home winning percentage of greater than 60%. So they struggle on the road versus these good teams. That's even with their guys. This is one where I feel like their bench, Tyus Jones starting and not really having the point guard coming off the bench really hurts them in this game. I like the Heat here in a blowout.
Sean, you got thoughts?
I can't get to a blowout. I do like Miami because, like you said, Matt, they do just find a way to get it done. Jimmy Butler lives at the free throw line and gets 2 free throws whenever necessary. The reason the game was tighter the other night against Utah was Lauri Markkanen was putting on a show. Shot it extremely well. He's had 6 threes. He was 6 of 12 from 3. He had almost 40 at 38 for the game. Tyler Hero didn't shoot it that well. The only thing I would say is that they do have an opportunity to climb in the standings, but I feel like they're going to be in that 6th slot, and I think they feel like that too. And Atlanta doesn't scare them. They own Atlanta. They just beat Atlanta twice in the last week. I'm not saying that Jimmy Butler and Spo and the guys won't come out motivated, but I can't see them running away with this one. This is going to be a tough game. I'm going to tail my guy Jay because I'm going to the game and I'll be in the building. I think they do get it done, but this is going to be. It should be. This is all the things you just laid out about crunch time. This is going to be another crunch time minute game for the Miami Heat, no doubt.
Seems like it. Yeah, we'll see it though. When Jay calls smash spots, he's been pretty good this season. Mine's pretty simple. It's under 237.5 on Celtics, 234.5. I'm sorry, C's and Wolves on Wednesday night. Look, the Boston offense has regressed. These power ratings, I think a lot about like where the power ratings are at and can they adjust enough for like how the team has evolved. Boston has gradually regressed offensively. They had a terrible offensive performance versus Houston. I will say that makes me like a little hesitant here on the under because typically after you have a team that shoots like absolute dog shit, they turn around the next game and they actually find the bucket pretty well. On the other hand, if a team shoots exceptionally well from 3, they tend to go back the other way. Boston's defense, I think, is way better than it was at the start of the season. It wasn't in that Houston game. If Boston's locked in, they're probably gonna lock up this Wolves team because the Wolves team just doesn't have as many weapons as the Celtics do. So I'm a little bit worried about 3-point rate in this one, but I still can't get to this number. It's just simply too high for me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the under. I've got this projected all the way down at 229.7. So I like it to anything below 230. I think this winds up being much more of a rock fight. Not rock fight, normal NBA game rather than a shootout. Minnesota, I think, is pretty good at home. They've been able to hang in these games, so I don't expect them to get rolled necessarily. And then the Celtics are just kind of they're wobbling just like a little bit. Wolves at home this season, the under is 21-15. That is 58% this season to the under at home for the Wolves. So I will go ahead and take the Wolves under. Wolves Celtics under 234.5. I want to talk about two more games before we get out of here speculatively. We mentioned it kind of earlier. Lakers absolutely blow out the Pelicans. They just mailed them from start to finish. Massive game, got tiebreaker, huge win. That was a great win for them. Anthony Davis is going to sit out the second half of the back-to-back because why wouldn't you? It's not like you're trying to avoid the play-in. Definitely got to get everybody rested and don't want to press anybody too much. It's not like we're inside the last 13 games of the season or anything. Jay, this Rockets team knocks off Boston, but is also categorically the worst team in the league. Lakers laying 4. I think this is an interesting test of what you think of the surrounding roster that they made at the deadline. Is basically like, is Russell, Vando, Malik, Austin Reeves, does that get it done on the road versus a Houston team that is so often just completely lost?
Well, first off, I'm trying to see because I think I see like 1.5, 2.5. I mean, like, because what are we really doing out here? It's 1.5. Okay. I mean, I won't even mention the book, but you can get one. I mean, what are we doing here? These are two teams going in opposite directions. The Rockets don't want to win. The Lakers do, right? And the team, they didn't really have to exert a ton of energy because they got up by 40 points. I'll definitely be betting the Lakers. Like actually, right after this, I'll be betting Lakers -1.5. I'm not sure what we're really doing here. The Rockets don't want to win games. Could they win? It's very possible, but it's one where if they do take a L, I'll just have to take my loss. Give me Lakers -1.5.
Yeah, my number was outdated. I put that in before the books moved it when the Anthony Davis thing came out, which is weird because I assumed that they'd already built it in because I was like, he doesn't play back-to-back. So Why would that be different? But you're absolutely right.
That's one of those things, though, Matt. Like, we know it's coming. We know Anthony Davis is not going to play a back-to-back. Yep. But until it's officially announced, books, people are a little nervous to kind of move that number. That's where you could get some value.
Yeah, but
if you're looking at numbers early, like we got on the show, the number was 4.5. Mm-hmm. We talked about, without even getting it confirmed, we said Anthony Davis is not going to play the back-to-back. It gets announced, it moves 2.5 points. So that's a clear spot where if you can get out in front of it, there's still some value you can grab there.
I need like any reason not to take the Lakers here. And then like a good enough one for me is this: Jabari Smith has been absolutely balling. Jamari's been absolutely just fucking hooping. He's been great. He's finally found his rhythm, his shot. He's looked so good. And
with Vandy on him, I guarantee you he won't look that good. Jared Vanderbilt.
I don't know, man. Vandy's like I love Vando. I loved him here in Denver. I thought they should have played him more here. I loved him in Minnesota. It's one of the reasons I like the Wolves last year versus the Grizz. But like, people like are talking about Vando as like this like hugely. I'm like, he's an effort guy. Like he's like a super effort dude, and you need those guys. But like, I don't know if it's like, we'll see if he can. Maybe just like put the body on him is enough because he's a rookie. But this
is a classic spot where if the Lakers get out early, Houston will fold up.
Yeah.
If they let him hang, this is going to be a tight game. Similar
maybe like Houston. This is like the opposite of a back-to-back play, but like maybe because Houston first half, and then opponent game has been like a really solid play this season. That might honestly be something to consider. It's just like Houston hangs in the first half, and then the Lakers actually just outpace them in the second half, and the Rockets go full Rockets.
Yeah, exactly.
Last one. I'm not going to bet this. I cannot help. I don't know why, Sean. I look at this Warriors line. They're on the road, which immediately is like, do not bet on the Warriors. They're on the road. I look at the line. I see it. They are +2.5 versus the Clippers. It's a short road trip, right? You're just going from San Francisco to LA. They are the worst. I want to stress this. The Warriors are the worst team in NBA recorded since we have data available. We have data going back to 2003. The Warriors are literally the worst against the spread team ever because we don't have data going back before that. Like, no one has been worse. But, like,
I got you, Matt. Listen.
Back, and they've got, like, Clay's playing well, and it's not a bad rest spot. Oh, Jay's shaking his fingernail. All right, I'm going to let Jay go first. Jay, talk me off of this so I don't do something stupid, like do a contrarian play on betting a Warriors road game.
The Warriors have the same amount of wins on the road as the San Antonio Spurs and the Houston Rockets. I don't really need to say anything. It's really to this point where I don't get it twisted. I'm a contrarian type of guy.
For the people, that's 7.
Yeah, well, I'm saying 6. I see 6 and 26 straight up. It's the same as San Antonio and Rockets. I could be wrong, but it doesn't matter. It shouldn't be that low, and I can't continue to see people take it on the road, and it's one of those where you don't do it. I mean, sometimes the best bet is no bet. I just stay off the game. Clippers, 4 straight home game. They're rested. They're starting to play a little bit better. People are not really realizing. I want no parts of the Warriors on the road. I don't know what it is, to be honest, because I watched their game.
It's so weird.
I can't put my finger on it. They don't play defense on the road. It's the craziest thing, man. I wouldn't go near
the offense isn't that good either. But yeah, to confirm, 7 and 26 on the road. Now, I will say this, 8 of their next 13 games to close out the season are on the road. So they know they're going to have to get some wins at some point. And this is going to be one of the best opportunities to get one. Like you said, Matt, short road trip, first game of a 4-game set that they have here. I was looking at Golden State. I was very close. It was between that and the under 239. I really like the under 239 in Bulls Kings, so I went that way. But I wouldn't be too upset. I lean Warriors in this spot to start the road trip. 8 of their next 13 are on the road. They have to win a few of those, and this is going to be one of their best spots. Jay, I don't think they lose all 8 of those.
No, they won't. I like the Clippers here, though.
I think they go to Houston. They go to Denver. They're gonna lose in Denver. But this is a spot where they could catch the Clippers sleeping here. And Curry coming off that big time game against the Suns as well. I was looking at Warriors. I lean Warriors. It's not an official play for me, but I do lean that way.
I'll say this: don't bet Clippers. They're minus 1.7 in spread differential at home this season. Okay. Now,
the Clippers hate the Warriors, man.
What's minus 1.7? The Warriors on the road at spread diff are minus 6.5. They're 6.5 points below the spread. Like, yeah, it's definitely got to be a no play. But if you're looking at this and you're just like auto play on the Clippers because the Warriors are on the road, Sean and I both feel like this is not the spot to fade Golden State. There will be other ones, I think, on the road. Let's gotta wrap it up for buckets for a Wednesday. Let's recap the best bets. Sean's got under 239 in Bulls and Kings. Jay's got the Heat minus 3.5, and I've got the under 234.5 in C's Wolves. That's going to wrap it up for your best bets episode for Wednesday. I'll be back tomorrow with another best bets episode for the Thursday slate, and then best bets on Friday. Plus, we'll take a look at Futures Friday as well. Got a guest coming on for that. Thanks everyone for joining us. Make sure to hit the rate, review, and subscribe. Our thanks to David Payne, our producer. My thanks to Sean Little and Jay Money. Sean, have a good time on South Beach. Jay, have a good time as we're not on South Beach. It's 40 degrees here, but it's fine. And we'll see you guys again next time. Till then, let's get buckets.